Hey guys, it's Miss Kate here. Do you know what this week is? This week is Holy Week. It actually started yesterday with Palm Sunday. Do y'all know what Palm Sunday is? Well, a long time ago, when Jesus was here on the earth, he rode into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey. And when he did so, all the people put palm branches down on the ground for him to walk over. Seems kind of like a funny story, right? Well, it was in a prophecy from the Old Testament that the Savior would do that. So he was fulfilling a prophecy. It's a big word, prophecy. So after that, he went and he had dinner with his friends. That was called the Last Supper. And there he broke bread and he said, "This is my body given for you." And he poured some wine and said, "This is my blood spilled out for you." The disciples didn't really know, or his friends didn't really know what that meant. Well, it would get explained later. Finally, Jesus was arrested. He was arrested and he was taken to prison. And that's where our story today begins. So I'm going to read to you a little story from this book right here, and it's called the Jesus Storybook Bible. Does it look backwards to y'all? All right, so it's called The Sun Stopped Shining. "So you're a king, are you?" the Roman soldiers jeered. "Then you'll need a crown and a robe." They gave Jesus a crown made out of thorns and put a purple robe on him and pretended to bow down to him. "Your Majesty," they said. Then they whipped him and spat on him. They didn't understand that this was the Prince of Life, the King of heaven and earth, who had come to rescue them. The soldiers made him a sign, "Our King," and nailed it to a wooden cross. They walked up a hill outside the city. Jesus carried the cross on his back. Jesus had never done anything wrong, but they were going to kill him the way criminals were killed. Goodness, that's really sad. They nailed Jesus to the cross. "Father, forgive them," Jesus gasped. "They don't understand what they do." "You've said you've come to rescue us," people shouted, "but you can't even rescue yourself." But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. A legion of angels would have flown to his side if he called. "If you were really the Son of God, you could have just climbed down off that cross," they said. And of course they were right. Jesus could have just climbed down. Actually, he could have just said a word and made it all stop. Like when he healed the little girl and stilled the storm and fed 5,000 people. But Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there. It was love. "Papa," Jesus cried, frantically searching the sky. "Papa, where are you? Don't leave me." And for the first time and the last time, when he spoke, nothing happened. Just a horrible, endless silence. God didn't answer. He turned away from his boy. Tears rolled down Jesus' face, the face of the one who would wipe away every tear from every eye. Even though it was midday, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine, the earth trembled and quaked, the great mountains shook, rocks split into two, until it seemed that the whole world would break, that creation itself would tear apart. The full force of the storm of God's fierce anger at sin was coming down on his own Son instead of his people. It was the only way God could destroy sin and not destroy his children whose hearts were filled with sin. Then Jesus shouted in a loud voice, "It is finished." And it was. He had done it. Jesus had rescued the whole world. "Father," Jesus cried, "I give you my life." And with a great sigh, he let himself die. Strange clouds and shadows filled the sky, purple, orange, black, like a bruise. Jesus' friends gently carried Jesus. They laid Jesus in a new tomb carved out of rock. How could Jesus die? What had gone wrong? What did it mean? They didn't know anything, except that they did know their hearts were breaking. "That's the end of Jesus," the leader said. But just to be sure, they sent strong soldiers to guard the tomb. They hauled a huge stone in front of the door to the tomb so that no one could get in or out. All right, we're going to pause our story right there. Right now, it seems like everything is super sad. Jesus was just nailed to the cross. They put him in a tomb. But guys, there's hope. There's happiness. This ends in a really, really good way. And we're going to show you that through a little baking experiment. So in just a second, my boys are going to come join me and we are going to make what's called resurrection rolls. Thanks. Hey everybody, we're back. I have Lucas and Evan here and we are going to make our resurrection rolls. So we just heard the story about how Jesus died on the cross for us and then he was put inside a tomb. Well, we stopped there and we said that was really sad. But we're going to show you something really cool, something that happened afterward with our resurrection rolls.
That's cool.
The first thing we're going to get is we're each going to get a marshmallow. All right. Do we eat this marshmallow?
It smells good.
It's super tempting, but don't eat it yet. So this marshmallow.
I give my marshmallow a kiss.
This marshmallow is going to represent Jesus. And when Jesus died, his friends took him and they covered his body with oil and spices to prepare him for burial. So what we have in these 2 cups right here is butter and cinnamon sugar. So we are going to cover our Jesus marshmallow in butter first.
Is that funny?
It is.
Guys.
All right, so I'm going to roll my marshmallow in the butter and I'm going to let Lucas do it. All right, can you roll your marshmallow in the butter? Cover the whole thing in butter. All the sides. Good job. And then take it out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're covering the body in oil. And then now we're going to take our cinnamon sugar and cover it in spices. So can you roll it in the cinnamon and sugar and cover the whole marshmallow with cinnamon sugar? Very good. Here, I'll take the butter and then we're going to cover it. Perfect.
Done.
All right, Lucas did a great job coating his. I'm going to coat mine too. And then Evan, can you coat yours in the cinnamon sugar? Dip it in there.
Good.
All right. Once they had covered his body in oils and spices, it's okay. What they did was they covered his body in cloth. So kind of like a mummy. Have y'all seen a mummy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A fake one.
A fake one, yeah. So we're each going to get a roll, and we just use regular rolls for this. And you can use crescent rolls. You can use anything you want. All right.
Now eat this?
We don't eat it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this roll and we're going to press it flat. Can y'all press it flat like Play-Doh? Like Play-Doh on the ground. Just push it. Evan, can you push your dough flat? Good job.
Oh, done.
And then, like a mummy, we're going to take our marshmallow and we're going to wrap it all the way with the biscuit. So covering it all the way. So Jesus was wrapped up like a mummy.
Like this.
You got it? Can you show the camera? This is what mine looks like. Good. Evan, do you need a little bit of help? All right. So it looks like Evan might need a little help. And then Lucas is sneaking some of the raw dough. We got to cook it first. So then we're going to take them and we're going to put them on our pan. So Lucas, you want to put it on the pan? And I'm going to help Evan because it seemed like he had a little bit of trouble. You can't help it. I know.
Is this it?
All right, so we're going to put it on. We probably only need one part of this parchment paper. Okay, so right now we have our marshmallows and we've covered them in oil and spices and we have wrapped them up in cloth to prepare the body for burial. All right, so remember in the story, where did they put Jesus? Where did they put him? In a cave, in a tomb. So we are going to go to our oven and put Jesus in our oven cave. All right, so once Jesus's body was prepared for burial, they put him in a tomb. A tomb is a big, dark cave. So we're going to use our oven. Our oven's going to be our tomb. So we set it to 350 degrees, and we're going to put our resurrection rolls inside and see what happens. So Jesus was dead in a tomb for 3 days. Let's count to 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3. All right, how many days was he in the tomb?
3.
3 days. That's right. All right, so pretend like our roles were in the tomb for 3 days. All right, 3 days after Jesus had died, an angel of God appeared to one of Jesus's friends. He told her that Jesus was alive. Jesus's friends decided to look in the tomb where they had put Jesus's body. But when they did, all right, can you get your rolls? And can you tear them open? Tear them open. Can you tear it open, Evs?
I'm tearing mine open.
What's inside of it, Evan?
No, marshmallow.
There's no marshmallow. What? Lucas is sad. There was no marshmallow, but what does that mean? It means that the tomb was empty. Jesus's body wasn't there. Jesus has risen. Look at me, guys. Jesus has risen.
Yeah.
Yay! So guys, we were talking about this week being Holy Week. Well, Friday marks Good Friday, which is the day we celebrate where Jesus was nailed to the cross. Seems like a weird thing to celebrate, but remember, when Jesus died, he died for all of us. He died to take away our sin. And then 3 days later, 1, 2, 3, he rose again on Easter Sunday. So this Sunday, if you celebrate with your family, remember that Jesus has risen. He has risen indeed. All right. We hope that you learned a little bit about Easter and about Holy Week, and we hope to see you soon.